FM on your dial, the first station on your dial, and hopefully the first station when you come to think of good music in Cincinnati. You're listening to The Greatest Story Ever Told. I'm Ramblin' Rob. I have an incredible show tonight. I have Bill Kurzenberger stopping in. A couple good tasty tunes, previewing some of that right now. Got a great passenger and a 36-minute other one, if I could squeeze that in, with Bill coming in here. WAIF, as a community radio station, serves only to open its airwaves to responsible, divergent points of view. The opinions expressed on this program are my own and do not reflect those of my guests, other programmers, or the Board of Trustees. They are my own opinions. You can check out the WAIF webpage at www.waif883.org. At the WAIF website, you'll find a program grid of the WAIF on-air schedule, streaming audio 24 hours a day, links to WAIF programmers' web pages, and all the other current news about what's going on here at WAIF. So check it out. We just updated the programming grid. I know we have some new programs coming on in the next month also, so you want to definitely check back periodically because it's updated frequently. We got a lot of good, interesting mix of music here, from blues to gospel to the Grateful Dead to heavy metal to surf rock. You name it, we have it if you like it. Bicentennial Commons is a beautiful 22-acre riverfront recreational area that includes lighted tennis courts and volleyball courts, play area for the kiddies, a fitness area, and a skating rink. Ooh, concerts are scheduled during the summer months. For more info, you can give them a call, 513-352-6180. Sure, they have a website too, even though that's not on there. And lastly, I want to let you guys know about this little great group in town here. Vegan Earth has a vegan potluck with a speaker the third Sunday of each month. All are welcome, and the gathering is free. For more info about this group and their events, call 513-929-2500 or visit the website on the interwebs, www.veganearthus.org. Okay, well, that being said, we're going to get on with a little music. Got today in Grateful Dead history coming up for you guys. A couple shout-outs. Great little Jordan's jam we're going to roll out with this show. Right near the end, and Not Fade Away from 1977. Nice long jammer. Still trying to get these long jammers out of my head. Playing the songs that your friends love to hate you for. These incredibly long Grateful Dead tunes, like this little gem right now. Just a tidbit of the 36 minutes I've got for you a little bit later. Only on WAIF. Would anybody be ballsy enough to play a 36-minute song? Because they can't put in commercials. They don't get paid enough. So, yeah, I don't get paid enough either. That's why I can play a 36-minute other one, and no one's going to say anything. But speaking of getting paid, if you guys missed a member-a-thon, you guys missed your opportunity to support us, but it's never too late. WAIF883.org. You'll see a little box on the right. $2.5 is the amount we ask for a member-thon or a membership. It's quick and easy. Mention Ramblin' Rob or The Greatest Story Ever Told in the comments section. You get a copy of our newsletter, get to attend the September annual meeting, and get a great little gift from Ramblin' Rob, which is in itself almost a $20 value. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a surprise, but no one has ever complained. And I do have a special contest. Going to be playing some Dark Star Orchestra. Check my Facebook page out for more details. Going to be playing a mystery song. They sound a lot like the Grateful Dead. I'm going to squeeze one of their tunes in. Just let me know which one I squeezed in, and you might just get lucky. You never know. All right, well, I have chatted almost 5 minutes. That's too much rambling. So we're going to get on with a little music here. Going to be featuring this nice passenger. I mean, just really nice. 1978, 12:30, the Pauley Pavilion, UCLA in Los Angeles, California. Thanks again, guys. Big shout out to the Facebook listeners.
Awesome tunes and always Grateful Dead. Yeah, Ramblin' Rob, well, he's your host, streaming on the web from coast to coast. Check it as you do shows of old. It's Ramblin' Rob's greatest story ever told.
Thanks, Lyle.
Bring out today.
sweet, unclear. What is a man? Deep down so high. It's nothing to hide. Inside out, inside down. Walls along the only game in town. Romance land, the only game in town. Bravo, the only game in town.
following is a public service message from the National Marijuana Council.
Did you know that marijuana is not just a right, it's a privilege? So, Americans, the next time you're at a party and some beer-soaked so-called alterna boy turns to you and sincerely lectures about the evils of the devil weed marijuana, then he laughs and takes a swig out of his hugely over-mass-marketed Alzheimer's disease-causing aluminum can of major label beer, go ahead. Knock that can of beer right out of his hands and stick a joint in his lips. He might just thank you. Then again, he might not.
This has been a public service message on behalf of the National Marijuana Council's Joints for the Jilted campaign. Thank you.
Your first drummer was
the Peeper. John Stumpy Pepys.
Oh, yeah.
Great, tall, blonde geek with glasses.
Yeah. Good drummer.
Great look, good drummer.
Good drummer.
Fine.
What happened to him?
He died. He died in a bizarre gardening accident some years back.
It's really one of those things. It was, the authorities said, best leave it unsolved, really.
And he was replaced by
Stumpy Joe. Eric Stumpy Joe Childs.
And what happened to Stumpy Joe?
Well, it's not a very pleasant story, but he died. He choked on. The official explanation was he choked on vomit.
It was actually someone else's vomit. It's not.
Ugly.
There's no real.
Well, they can't prove whose vomit it was. They don't have facilities in Scotland Yard to print.
You can't really dust for vomit.
We're going to do that Jordan's Jam now, going out to Jordan McElroy from 1977. The Winterland Arena, 318. Nice 20-minute jammer while Bill Kurzenberger sets up, which, hold tight, kids, you're on for quite the adventure.
me. You're gonna give your love to me. I wanna love you night and day. Know my love will not fade away. You know my love will not fade away. Not fade away. My love is bigger than a Cadillac. I tried to show you, but you drive it back. Your love for me has got to be real. You're gonna know just how I feel. Love is real, not fade away. fade away. Not fade away. No, my love will not fade away. No, my love will not fade away. Love will not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. Love will not fade away. No, our 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 love will not fade away. Not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. Not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. Our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. Our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. Our love will not fade away. 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 Our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. Our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. Our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. Our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. Not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. Our love will not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. My love will not fade away. You know 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 my love will not fade away. No, our love will not fade away.
That was the Grateful Dead, 1977. A little long jammer there, a little over 20 minutes. Do not fade away. Okay, well, we've got Bill Kurzenberger. He's tickling the keys there. You just heard him doing a little. Exactly. A little bit of that. He's going to be in, I'd say less than 10 minutes. We'll be touching base with him. He's got an exciting year planned, and he's going to touch base with us on that. Find Ramblin' Rob on Facebook. Also have a YouTube channel with about 160 old shows for your listening enjoyment. You guys can check that out. If you like the Grateful Dead or you have some friends, tell them to find me on Facebook. Let them know what's happening here at WAIF and on The Greatest Story Ever Told. Wanted to let you guys know before we get on the air with Bill here what happened today in Grateful Dead history, in case you guys might have missed it, which some of you might have, others maybe not. Okay, let you guys know here in I was to be remiss unless I wished right off the bat here on what happened today in Grateful Dead history. A big happy birthday to Billy Kay, drummer extraordinaire for the Boys, and a myriad of musical adventures after that. So happy birthday. We won't tell you how old he is, but happy birthday, Bill Kreutzmann from Ramblin' Rob and The Greatest Story Ever Told, and WAIF, and Bill Kurzenberger. Also, on today's date, 1966, the Grateful Dead played the Harmon Gym at the University of California, Berkeley. 1968, the Electric Circus, New York City. 1969, did a nice free show afternoon concert at the Polo Field, Golden Gate Park. Also 1970, the Grateful Dead played at the DuPont Gym at MIT, Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was an acoustic electric set, first Darkness Jam that night. I believe that was a kind of a protesting to protest the Kent State shootings there. And if I remember right, they smuggled them in a Wonder Bread truck because they wouldn't let them play because they didn't have a permit. But somehow the guys got in a Wonder Bread truck. And I believe that was also the same show that Sam Cutler, who was the manager of the Grateful Dead at the time, the little guy at MIT who was organizing this, the free-willing hippie that he was, I guess, short-haired free-willing hippie that he was, got a gram of hash he wanted to smoke with the Grateful Dead. So he managed to get up to the stage, talk to Sam Cutler, who's the manager of the Grateful Dead, and tried to persuade Sam into letting him backstage. Sam looked at the kid, grabbed the gram of hash, and ate it right in front of him. That's just such a great story about Sam Cutler. And the guy just sat there with his jaw on the ground. Anyway, also 1972, Bickershaw Festival, Wigan, England. 1977, the Boston Garden. 1978, the Fieldhouse, Rensselaer Polytechnic, Troy, New York. 1979, the Kirby Fieldhouse, Lafayette College, Easton, Pennsylvania. That was a second set guest, John Cipollina, showed up for a couple tunes there. Also, 1980, Barton Hall in Ithaca, New York. 1981, the guys appeared on The Tomorrow Show, NBC Studios up in New York City. That was an acoustic little set there. They played like 3 songs, and Brent was not present. 1984, the Silva Hall. That was at the Holt Center, Eugene, Oregon. And the last time the Grateful Dead played on today's date, 1989, the Frost Amphitheater, Palo Alto, California. That was a Rex Foundation benefit and also an FM broadcast. And speaking of FM broadcast, I'm going to play a tune for you guys that is from Bill Kurzenberger's new album, Resonate. He is in studio. You're going to be hearing him in just a little bit. I'm really excited to get this album. It's a kind of a hodgepodge of his original music throughout the years, and I listened to it the day after I got it, and I could tell you it's one of my favorites. It's one of those rare CDs that's not a Grateful Dead that actually ends up in my hard drive. Don't want to take up space, only got so many gig, it's got to be devoted to the Grateful Dead, but yeah, one of those rare albums that isn't a Grateful Dead that I actually carry around with me everywhere I go. And this is why. This tune has a random habit of showing up in my head at the most inopportune times, usually when I'm doing something important or driving or something. But anyway, this is Genevieve, one of the songs off the new album, and you guys are going to like this because I do. And you can find Bill on Facebook. You also, I'm sure you got a SoundCloud or Reverb Nation, something like that.
I sure do. .com/Bill Kurzenberger.
Okay.
And SoundCloud.com/BillsMusic. And my website, www.billsmusic.net.
Oh, gotcha. Gee, well, there you go, see? Okay, kids, well, this is Genevieve, has one of the greater lines in rock and roll, I think, but that's just my opinion, and I'll let you guys listen to it, and you can tell me. This is Bill Kurzenberger, only on WAIF and only on The Greatest Story Ever Told.
The room and whispered through the air. I turned her around and she was gone before I knew that she was there. She had a ticket for a train or a plane that was going anywhere but here. And when I tried to follow her, I watched her disappear. Genevieve, 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 I know all the tricks that you have hiding up your sleeve. Genevieve.
Geniveve-Bill Kurzenberger there on WAIF. A little Genevieve, love that tune. And speaking of Bill Kurzenberger, he's in studio with me. Bill, thanks again for joining me.
Hey, Rob, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Hey, not a problem, man. I know you're a busy person. You got a lot of, on your plate. I know you had some other appearances today. Mr. Media, you want to tell me about those, Mr. Big Shot?
Sure, yeah. I had the pleasure of appearing on WCBE in Columbus, the NPR station in Columbus, earlier today on the Global Village, and I was able to appear there, and also had an article in the Columbus Dispatch today that appeared in the Weekender section that featured a little Q&A interview about the new CD and the CD release party tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. CD release party. Where's that going to happen?
That's Woodlands Tavern tomorrow in Columbus.
Woodlands, what time?
Well, starting at 8 o'clock, and there's a full lineup of events scheduled, lineup of bands scheduled from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. I'll be starting with a short solo set. Eric Ransom will be playing a little bit. He's also featured on a couple songs on the new CD.
Gotcha.
The Bughounds, they'll be playing a full set, a full hour-and-a-half set with the horn section.
Ooh.
And Crispy's Midnight Railroad with Cliff Starbuck, old friend and compadre. And
legend in the Ohio music scene.
That's right, absolutely, absolutely. And I'll be playing for part of Crispy's set also. And then Terrapin Moon will be playing about midnight or so. We have a great set planned, a great Dead-themed set planned. And after that, to close the night out about 1:20 or 1:30, will be a Resonation All-Star Jam with members of all of those projects jamming together.
Jeez, Pete. That's quite the bill, man.
Thanks.
How much you charging? $75 a
Yeah,
ticket
right.
or something?
Right. No, actually, it's only a $6 cover. It's,
jeez, that's good.
Yeah, I decided to keep the ticket price reasonable, and
that's a lot of
That's a great
entertainment
lineup.
for a minimal price there.
Sure is.
I bet your finger's going to be tired after that night.
Yeah, that will be quite a busy night on stage. I guess 4.5 or 5 hours on stage or something like that. Yeah.
Whew. Well, I'll just bring some ice packs or something like that. So you're from Columbus. You want to tell people a little bit about your background? I know, judging from the last couple appearances, seeing you around over the last couple of decades, it appears you have almost music flowing in your blood.
That's right. I'd say music is probably my first language before English. I grew up in Cleveland originally, and
we won't hold that against you.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I shouldn't say that too loud, right? Well, okay, so on to the Columbus part. So I moved down to Columbus in 1994, and I've been playing around in Columbus for 20 years, working as a computer tech during the day and then playing music at night and on the weekends mostly. And first started playing in a lot of open stages in the late 90s. I was hitting the Dolphin Lounge and a lot of those open stage bars and learned a lot about playing music at that time, and then started playing keyboards. Got back to the keyboards. I'd taken piano lessons early on, as early as first grade. Got back on keyboards in 2000.
Well, I mean, as far as if you want to get out on the road, carrying a piano around with you is tough.
It is. I mean, luckily we have some more portable keyboards. But I will say, and maybe it was because I was a mediocre guitar player, and especially back in the 90s or early 2000s, and maybe it's because of that. And I was primarily a rhythm player. But there are a lot of guitar players, generally speaking, that there's generally a surplus of guitar players, and often I found that there were not very many keyboard players available to play certain shows. And as a result, I found myself playing with a lot of different bands and having the privilege of sitting in with a lot of different bands over the years and playing in 15 different bands and sitting in with probably another 15 more.
Jeez, Pete. So when you look back upon, from the Skeleton Crew and everybody, so how do you, I guess, rate your sit-ins? What was your favorite sit-in over all the years?
Well, okay, I guess my favorite sit-in would have to be Acousticuca. I'm a big Acousticuca fan. I grew up listening to them starting in about 93. Started seeing them live, and so there were two times so far that I got to sit in with Acousticuca, and then a third time at the Fallville this last year with Acoustic Hook. I played a couple songs with them, but there was a show that I played. In fact, it was 10 years ago this weekend. 10 years ago last weekend. That was at Nelson Ledges. I was up playing with John Mullen's band. We were up right before hookah. And John Mullen's band, we finished our set. We had a great show. And then I found out that Dave Katz was not there. His son was born. His wife had just given birth to his first son. son.
Great.
And so, of course, he wasn't there, understandably. And Ed McGee and Cliff Starbuck invited me to come up and play with the Acoustic Hookah. So I sat in for part of that first set. Excuse me. And then for the second set, John Mullins was invited up on stage because he was not back with the band yet at this point. And it was Ed McGee and Sweeney and Johnny Plansky and Eric Lanice, and had the privilege of, and Cliff Starbuck, of course, and had the privilege of playing about half of that show with Acoustic Hookah. So that I guess, as far as sit-ins goes, that was probably my favorite so far.
Memorable. Well, that's cool, man. And you do have a new album out. Is there any place that people could get this if they like
absolutely.
the stuff they're hearing tonight?
Yes. In fact, it'll be available starting tomorrow on cdbaby.com. You can get to all of these sites from my website, from billsmusic.net. You can get to the page on CD Baby where you can buy the physical CDs or the digital downloads. And of course, the CDs will be available at the release party tomorrow. It'll also be available on Apple iTunes and Amazon starting tomorrow. In fact, it's already listed for pre-sale or pre-order. And starting tomorrow, you can get all of those tracks on Apple iTunes and Amazon, Rhapsody. If not tomorrow, then very soon after, and Spotify, and a lot of those outlets will be available there too.
You can tell you're a computer guy.
That's right.
Most of the guys that come in here, I ask that, they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know where to get. I don't know. I'll get back with you on that.
We got a link for the interwebs somewhere.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, people will not have a problem finding it, apparently. That's good,
right,
man.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow. Well, that's cool. So you're like the Caped Crusader of music. You're a mild-mannered computer programmer during the day, and then you throw off all...
There's a little bit of that, I guess.
Veil of normalness, put the hat on, and turn into somebody else, huh?
That's right. There's a little bit of that kind of duality, either maybe not Jekyll and Hyde, but a little bit of that duality where I find myself going downtown to work in an office building at a relatively conservative company, a great company, and then I find myself kind of switching gears on the weekends and getting to play music all over Ohio and beyond, and I love it. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and definitely, if you're up at the show tomorrow, I think you're going to have some merch. You can get the CD. You're going to have a really hot merch girl. Is that right? I heard.
That's my wife, Julie. Absolutely.
Well,
yes, exactly. I sure will.
Yeah, big shout out to Julie.
She'll be there. Yes,
yeah.
Thanks, Julie, for listening. Yeah.
So when you look back in all the decades that you played and all the people you played with, all the things you've done from a musical standpoint, what do you think one of your favorite musical memories is? Be it playing someplace, playing a song, maybe hearing a tune when you're in sixth grade. Just looking back and like, oh yeah, that's what turned me on, or that's what changed my direction, or what have you.
Well, I guess some of my favorite moments are a little more recent than that, as far as like favorite shows that I've played. Many of those have been with the Bughounds at Slice of Columbus, which is a large event in Columbus every year that features all the pizza vendors.
How did I not hear about that?
Yeah, right?
I love pizza. How did I not hear about that?
Hey, it's going to be coming up in September again, and I'll let you know once we're 100% confirmed. But that should be another good weekend that I'll make sure to. I'm sorry, it's on a Wednesday in September, and I'll make sure to invite you to that.
Might have to take a vacation day.
Sure. And now they have it at the Columbus Commons, which is a huge, beautiful venue downtown, which there were about 6,000 people there when we played there last year. And a couple of years before that, we were able to play it at the LC Pavilion, Lifestyle Communities Pavilion, Promo West Pavilion there in Columbus. And once at Huntington Park, the Columbus Clipper Stadium, we actually got to play on the field there at Huntington Park, right on the third baseline for Slice of Columbus about 4 years ago now.
Man.
So those are some of the favorite shows that I've played. Early on, I was just kind of lucky to, in the 90s and early 2000s, I was, I guess, just lucky to be playing with competent musicians at that point. And we were just lucky we could take kind of, your little smoky basement bar that might be relatively small, in those days might have been relatively small. And, hey, we could go to outer space with that bar and back, and all around the world and back. So those were a lot of fun too.
And I saw you at one of those places. I don't know, what year did you join the Skeleton Crew?
Skeleton Crew, I first started playing with them in 2008. Bob Petty invited me to play with them.
It was before then. I remember Charlie. I think he was in that at that point. Anyway. So you got the new album coming out. It's studio, and I know you like playing live. So which one you like better, doing the studio work or playing live?
I like playing live. I I like being able to kind of express whatever the song is trying to convey. I like expressing that and reading the audience and the feedback that is, of course, really important from the crowd. It's not quite the same in the studio, where it's hard to sometimes. We're our own worst critics in the studio, and sometimes it's hard to see. It's hard to tell. Okay, is this really sounding good? Is this just kind of sounding average? So it's nice to get that feedback on a live stage for sure, and nice to be able to play so many of Ohio's large venues, and so I definitely prefer that. However, that being said, I think it's also crucial for bands and solo artists to also get in the studio every few years. It's taken me 5 years, just since my last CD, and this is and 10 years since I've released a CD that had a full band featured on it, which was my first album in 2005. So I definitely encourage bands and artists to get in the studio, because you can sometimes get good live recordings, but in order to really capture the essence of what you want your songs to convey, and in order to have this sonically, in order to have everything sounding as good as it should, I think that the studio is a crucial part of the equation.
Yeah, plus it's kind of it's like a snapshot in time, like you said.
Absolutely.
You can get a feel. Everybody plays differently live, and different levels from different levels of the instruments to different levels of the crowd to different levels of your band's inebriation. There's so many variables compared to in studio. It's more, clean cut and sterile. And,
sure.
You get to do it over. And
sure. Or add orchestration, add strings and all these different things.
Yeah, you don't want to get all like, all Beach Boy and stuff.
Sure.
You go crazy.
No. There was one song on the new CD, the Riverbed, that has a really kind of nice kind of middle section that I felt benefited from having some strings that I played on the keyboard along with that. But you're right, only in certain limited quantities.
So, do you have a favorite song on the new album?
That's a good question. I guess I would have to say Resonate. It's the song that it's the oldest song on the CD. In fact, I'd written it back in 2003, and if I had been able to, I would have included that on my first CD. And then also when I recorded the second CD, Solitary Road, which was a solo album, I had a solo version of that, but I just felt that I really wanted a full band recording of that. So that song, recording that song has been about 12 years in the making, and I thought it was appropriate also to name the album Resonate. It kind of captures, it encompasses what as somewhat of a concept album, it kind of encompasses that's what I wanted to convey. So,
album,
that
song,
album, yeah, exactly. The album, the song. So that's the favorite one. That's my favorite.
Well, that's cool, man. I know that Ohio's got a really good music scene. I tell everybody about it, especially if you're from out of town, Indiana, stuff like that, that we've really got a good music scene. And
Absolutely.
A lot of the musicians support each other. It's not really so much they're battling out for spots or venues. It seems like, at least among the jam bands and stuff like that, everyone tends to get along, plays well with each other, and likes jamming with each other.
That's right. No question. You see other bands at other festivals some of their members who I may have played in other projects over the years, or just known from other bands over the years, and it's always great to catch up with old friends who are playing different fests.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to just couple more quickies, and we're going to get on with some music here. I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to probably play Resonate at the end of the show, because I got to get a little Dark Star Orchestra on for my contest. But
perfect.
Do you have any good causes, anything you support, any shout-outs you'd like to give to any listeners that are listening out there?
Well, sure. There's
I Resonate.
There's sure, absolutely. Well, aside from the necessity of supporting radio stations like WAIF and all community and public supported radio stations, but especially WAIF, and also in Columbus, there's causes that I like to support, like ComFest, the Columbus Community Festival, which is all volunteer run, and there's the Harmony for Ohio Foundation, which also works with the Ronald McDonald House. So that's something else that I support and encourage other people to support too.
Well, excellent. Any personal shout outs you'd like to give?
Well, of course, my wife Julie and everyone, friends and fans and family and listeners that are tuning in, and also to my all of my bandmates and the Bughounds and Terrapin Moon and Resonation and Crispy and friends and also some new friends that I'll be starting to play some shows with this summer. What Goes Around, which is a kind of an exciting project that we're not ready to really lift the veil on just yet, but starting in about August, you're gonna hear a lot from What Goes Around with a lot of prominent Cincinnati musicians, Travis Gates and David Napier and Justin Tonehammer, and last but not least, David Homel, who is kind of putting this whole thing together, well-known musician from the New York area. So hopefully, and I think he's tuning in, and so hello to everyone out there, and I can't wait to be playing with those fine gentlemen on stage.
I just was over at Travis's house 2 weeks ago. Met Dave Homel over the summer. I think his first week in town. Hung out with him at Stanley's, fun cat, and Dave Napier was just in here, I think, in February with Mike Conley.
Excellent.
So I really like Dave. He brought his djembe in, and do you know Mike Conley? You need to get a hold of Mike Conley, man.
I'm not sure if I do.
I call him my personal Grateful Dead musician.
I would very likely recognize him. I bet I would recognize him if I saw him.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that comes over to my place and plays when I have parties and such.
Nice.
So, yeah, I love having him over.
And David Homel and I just had the pleasure of seeing Bruce Hornsby last night in Columbus, so that was fantastic. Yeah,
always a good, excellent musician.
Yeah, fantastic. One of my influences for sure.
Oh, yeah, true. So last question for you. We'll make it an easy or hard one, depending on how you look at it, I guess. Do you have a favorite Grateful Dead tune?
It varies from time to time. Playing in the band is always one of my favorites. You know, any of those 70s playing in the bands that stretch on for 15, 20 minutes, you know, I could listen to those all day. In fact, I put a CD together of like all playing in the band versions that sometimes for road trips I'll listen to but
I'll make you a CD, man.
Oh, I'd love to hear what you got. Of course, Dark Star, Terrapin, many favorites. I guess it would sometimes depend on the day.
Gotcha. Yeah, the host of the radio show, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, after me, and his new time frame after me, his first show he played 2 hours of nothing but different Sugarees, because he loves Jerry Garcia, and the Sugarees is probably his favorite song by Jerry, one of his favorite songs of all time.
Sure, one of my favorites.
So he told me that, and I'm like, okay, I'm giving him a Sugaree from every year that they did it. I gave him 4 CDs. I'm like, here's like 320 minutes of just Sugarees, man.
Oh, sweet. Oh, how sweet that is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we're going to get off the air. We're going to let Bill tickle the keys a little bit. I'm going to play one quick tune by Dark Star Orchestra. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, we're going to play this one quick tune by these guys from 2010 up at the All Good Fest. It's a live version, of course. Always trying to play live tunes. I think music is best heard live. And, it's a good way to have fun and a good way to support local music. Get up off the couch and just don't download the music. Get up and listen. Go to the local bar, the local venue, the festival, what have you. It's festy season. It's starting up. I'm going to up the Jubilee, my first official fest of the year. Going up there in just a couple weeks, and can't wait to see the lineup. Los Lobos. It was really a surprise every time they release it. It's like, man, they keep stepping up the game, really. Anyway, we're going to feature a little music here, and then we're going to get on air with some live Bill Kurzenberger. And this one is a little Cumberland Blues, live from 2010. Let me know what tune this is, and who does it. 2010, a little fun stuff for you. Tell me what that song was on Facebook, and you'll be registered for some goodies. And speaking of goodies, I do have someone in studio. We're going to touch base with Bill. You guys just heard a nice little interview with him. Got to see what he's up to. A lot of exciting things, a lot of exciting people he's playing with. Speaking of exciting things, here at WAIF, we have a lot of exciting programs. You can check out Boiling Point every Thursday afternoon from 3 to 5. I used to follow those guys in my old time slot with news and views of working people fighting for justice around the city, around the country, and around the world. You can hear it only here on WAIF, Thursdays at 3, Boiling Point. Also, the Hamilton County Park District has a volunteer program that began in 1979. Hardworking and dedicated county citizens fulfill many duties and projects each and every year that the Park District would otherwise be unable to accomplish. People interested in volunteering for the Hamilton County Park District may contact them 513-521-7275, extension 245, or a simpler way, visit them online, www.greatparks.org. We do have an incredible park district here in Hamilton County, always one of the top-ranked county park districts in the nation. They do actually have a training program that other county parks and some state parks send people to each and every year on how to make a good park. Anyway, last good thing I want to tell you about, Recycled Doggies. Always love reading this one. Recycled Doggies is an all-foster rescue whose mission is to help shelter dogs find forever homes. Recycled Doggies also operates the Cincinnati Pet Food Pantry and provides temporary food assistance to pet owners in need of help to feed their pets. Adoption events are held on a weekly basis with food pantry distribution on the third Saturday of the month. You can get a list of adoptable events and locations, and you can also get a little information on how to become a volunteer for this good cause by calling 513-275-5842 or recycleddoggies.com. So don't forget about the little doggies there. They always need homes too. Okay, we're going to do a little couple shout outs before we get on with Bill here. I'm remiss. You're listening to WAIF 88.3 FM, Ramblin' Rob on The Greatest Story Ever Told. Find me on YouTube. Also find me on Facebook. We do have a couple shout-outs real quick here. A big shout-out to Lyle. Thanks again for writing the theme tune. Also, Dawn and Scarlett, thank you very much for listening and supporting Ramblin' Rob. John and Jillian, they were my ticket winners last week, the Dark Star Jubilee. Thanks again for listening and supporting Ramblin' Rob. Also, a big thanks to Lindsey Garrigan for becoming a member here at WAIF. And again, Smokestack, hope you are having a good time doing the tie-dyeing thing. Okay, well, we're going to touch base with Bill here. He's all plugged in and ready to go. We got some live music for you here. There you go.
All right, this is a song from the new CD. This is called A Certain Kind of Mojo.
there's a hoodoo on the bayou tonight. Well, there's a hoodoo on the bayou tonight. Makes all the grifters holler, little mama want $1. There's a hoodoo on the bayou tonight. Well, there's a certain kind of mojo tonight. Well, there's a certain kind of mojo tonight. What you taking on my door for while you showing me the door? There's a certain kind of mojo tonight.
All right, that's an original, I guess.
It sure is.
All right, what was that about? Oh, every once in a while, I like asking.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I wrote that one. I was kind of inspired to write a song that I felt could have been an old blues song that might have been written maybe 40 or 50 years ago, back in the era of Willie Dixon's great blues songs that he wrote with Muddy Waters and a lot of those songs. So I wanted to write a song that was from that same genre. It was definitely inspired by Smokestack Lightning and Spoonful types of Willie Dixon songs and Howlin' Wolf songs. And I wanted to include as many blues references without having it be too cliche, although there are a lot of those blues cliches in there. The stray cats and the hound dogs and the hoodoo on the bayou and women of ill repute and those types of things. So I wanted to kind of capture the essence of those old blues songs and kind of an acknowledgement of the blues influence on my playing.
Well, it definitely worked, man, because I've got, I think, 2 of your other albums and this one, and usually they're almost kind of a upbeat, up-tempo type of thing, and that one kind of struck me as a little more slower and, I won't say darker, but a little more heavy.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Okay. For sure.
Okay, man, well, next, what do you got, man?
Well, good question. A lot of different things to choose from here. I was thinking it's always good to include a song by Bob Dylan, so here's a song.
Heck yeah.
Here's an old Bob Dylan song. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She takes the dark out of the nighttime and she paints the daytime black. She never stumbles, she's got no place to fall. And she never stumbles and she's got no place to fall. Well, she's nobody's child and the Lord can't touch her at all. An Egyptian red ring that sparkles before she speaks. She wears an Egyptian red ring and it sparkles before she speaks. She is the hypnotist collector. You are a walking antique. Bow down to her on Sunday, salute her when her birthday comes. Bow down to her on Sunday and salute her when her birthday comes. For Halloween buy her a trumpet and for Christmas give her a drum. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She takes dark out of the nighttime and she paints daytime black. She takes dark out of the nighttime and she paints the daytime black.
is one of my favorite Dylan tunes.
Ah, yes. Thanks. Mine too.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you seen Bobby and Phil and Jerry doing that? It was off a video released in the 80s called So Far.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's been a while since
it's an acoustic version that's really, really good. I really like that, man.
Yeah, I'll have to dig that up. That's a great little
Yeah, I play that
find.
Every once in a while. Usually devoted to the wife, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah. Absolutely. That one is definitely dedicated to Julie.
Yeah. My wife being an artist and such, Smokestack Cindy, so... yeah, of course, every time you play it, you got to devote it to the wife, no matter who you are.
That's right.
I guess unless you're not married.
I don't care who you are.
I guess unless you're not married.
Right.
You can devote it to some future wife starting tonight.
That's right.
And I always tell young musicians, I even told the guys, Strange Mechanics, who were in last week, that, anytime some guy starts playing music and, they want to do their own original stuff and no one wants to listen to that as you start out, so you have to play covers. And I tell people, you don't necessarily have to play a Bob Dylan cover, but you do, if you want to write your own music, have to listen to Bob Dylan, whether you like him or not, because he'll present a side of writing music that you probably never have thought of.
No question. No other songwriter. Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia being close seconds, but
yes.
For me, no other songwriter. Even though Van Morrison, there's a lot that I really love, but no other songwriter really can for me top Bob Dylan's lyricism.
Right. I mean, you could, country music or rock music.
Sure.
A lot of the music kind of falls into these, rhythms or beats or topics even,
Sure.
Most of rock and roll is about women or drugs or having a good time, I mean, honestly, cars too, I guess.
The trifecta,
right. So, I mean, a lot of that's just pigeonholed, and, Bob Dylan, he's not in the box, he's not out of the box. He's totally in a different dimension from the box.
Absolutely.
He's
and he found really interesting ways of conveying certain events that happened and really putting a different perspective on those events.
Like
such
ISIS.
Sure. Or I was thinking from the same album, Hurricane with Reuben Carter. You have a lot of false imprisonment and that type of thing. Blowing in the Wind kind of referenced a lot of that too, and some injustices of the past, and unfortunately sometimes of the present time. And I think Bob Dylan did a great job of kind of shedding a little light on things, and in some ways that might have made people a little bit uncomfortable.
Right.
As with Crosby, Stills and Nash and other great songwriters, and I think sometimes that might make people a little bit uncomfortable. But then the next time that they come into a situation that might be questionable, that then they might think of that lyric, or they might think of that song and realize, maybe this is what that guy was talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Hurricanes probably. I remember the first time I heard that tune on the radio, I was like, wow, this is a long tune, one. And two, for radio, typical radio play.
And I need to bleep out a couple words there.
Right, yeah. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, man, I didn't even know Bob Dylan did it. And this was back in high school. So yeah, that's when I first kind of fell in love with Bob Dylan. I almost ran off the road. It was such an emotional, tune when you listen to the words and the story behind it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I put that on a couple every year. Ramblin' Rob makes these Christmas CDs for people, and
nice.
I try to go through my 16,000+ tunes here and pick some songs that people would like. And I gave Cindy's nephew Nate that CD, and it had Hurricane on it. I was like, "Do you like your Christmas CD I got for you?" He's like, "Man, it made me cry." I'm like, "What made you cry?" He's like, "Oh, that Hurricane tune." I'm like, "Well, that's good. It's that emotional of a tune."
No question.
And that's Bob Dylan for you. All right. Well, speaking of Bob Dylan, we're not going to speak of Bob Dylan anymore. Let's speak Bill Kurzenberger since he's in the studio. Bill, you got another tune for us?
I sure do. In fact, actually, this makes for a really appropriate transition because this is an original song called Nightcrawler, and I was actually inspired to write this here in Cincinnati at a Bob Dylan concert. It was, I want to say probably 2000 or 2001. Bob Dylan at Riverbend. It was Phil and Dylan at Riverbend. And Dylan was playing first. It was the afternoon. And I'll make a long story short. A guy walked up to me and he's asking people around me, "Hey, do you have a knife? Do you have a pocket knife? Do you have a knife?" And he walks up to me, "Do you have a knife?" "No, of course I don't have a knife. But we're at a Bob Dylan Phil Les show. Why would I have a knife?" And so it was kind of that thought of, something just seems a little bit amiss here. What would possess that person to be asking everyone around him for a knife. And as it turned out, it was harmless. One of his friends had like a necklace on that I guess was too tight. It was a choker necklace, and it was like, so he needed help to get the necklace off, and it was too tight, so he couldn't get it off. So his friend was helping him by eventually finding a little knife and helping to cut the necklace off. But that inspired me to write this song called Nightcrawler. From that moment, I was driving home from the Dylan show, and later, and I was like, there's a song in that somewhere.
Oh, here you go, guys.
So
Nightcrawler.
You'll see him walking in with those shady eyes. He offers you a drink while planning your demise. Should have seen him coming, and it should be no surprise when you found out what he really was. The Nightcrawler slithers through the stormy night, and you'll see no trace of him past the early morning light. It's the only life he knows, and it doesn't seem quite right. But who are we to say? A man walks up to me and he asks me for a knife, and I turn and see another man running for his life. He offers me some money and he offers me his wife, but I say I'll just be on my way. Everybody's walking around with those shady eyes, standing in the shadows, planning their own demise. They've got a remedy to leave you paralyzed until the break of day. The Nightcrawlers slither through the stormy night, and you'll see no trace of them past the early morning light. It's the only life they know, and it doesn't seem quite right. But who are we to say? Who are we to say? Who are we to say what's right? For all we know, they may be right. Sometimes you get blinded when you step into the light. Sometimes you get burned by the firelight. Sometimes the future doesn't look so bright. Sometimes the end looks like it might be inside. For all we know, they may be right. For all we know, they may be right.
Written about a knife fight at a Dylan concert. That's nice. I like that. That's kind of a reminds me of like going down south to New Orleans for some reason. I don't know why.
Sure.
Maybe a little Dr. John-ish or something.
Oh, no
I don't
question.
know.
There's definitely several of the songs that I've both written and some of my favorite songs that are very Dr. John inspired.
Yeah, I remember I took a history of rock and roll class, and we studied about the New Orleans and the boogie woogie, and Dr. John, man, my professor really liked him.
Oh yeah.
And that was one good thing about that professor is not only did you have class, you had, I think, back when they had tapes. Remember the tapes?
Of course, the cassettes. I still have
cassette
a couple
tapes.
hundred of those cassettes. I haven't listened to them.
Yeah, well, we had to listen to, I think it was 120 minutes or 60 minutes of music a week that you had to go to like this special music library and check out this tape, and then you had to listen to it. So it was documented that you listened to it because you had to check it out. And these were the most, being a tape collector from the Grateful Dead and sticking to Maxell XL2S and soundboards, these tapes were absolutely horrible. Barely audible, but he had the most incredible mix of music.
Audience.
Yeah, it was just horrible sounding, but he had the most incredible, Rocket 88 and a lot of these early rock tunes that I hadn't even heard of that, quite thankful now that I actually got exposed to it because, it's a very vast universe, rock and roll.
No question.
From ABBA to ZZ Top.
And yeah, the Deep South definitely had a lot of influence on that, both with the blues and Southern rock and country and
every genre.
And New Orleans is its own universe in itself.
Well, being a fan of the Grateful Dead and playing in a Grateful Dead tribute band and playing a lot of Grateful Dead and such, I mean, they draw from one of the most varied palettes in music, in my opinion, from 1930s jug bands to Smokey Robinson to Irving Berlin, Jerry Garcia covered to George Jones, Merle Haggard, dipping deep into the country stuff. Did me and Bobby McGee, contemporary rockish style. And so yeah, they really dug deep with their influences.
Incredibly vast repertoire.
Yeah, not even
the spectrum is so wide; it's hard to see from one end of that musical spectrum to the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to even when I first started listening to the Grateful Dead when I was younger and trying to tell my friends, like, what is the Grateful Dead? What do they sound like? Blah, 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 blah. I couldn't even begin to categorize them, having listened to so many different bootlegs, a 1968 Grateful Dead is not a 1979 Grateful Dead, is not a 1991 Grateful Dead. It's almost like, how do I even put a tag on them? Are they country? They folk? They electric? They psychedelic? I don't even know. But anyway.
Just the way that they're able to take even like an older song from the like you were saying 1920s or 1930s and transform that into a quasi psychedelic masterpiece and still stay true to that lyrically and sometimes add their own lyrics in. And
right.
It's amazing for sure.
Exactly. All right. Well, you're listening to WAIF, Ramblin' Rob, and the greatest story ever told. Bill Kurzenberger's in studio. You guys are going to stick around next week, I'm sure, at 8 p.m. Going to tune back in. Live streaming worldwide. We have Herb Green, world-famous photographer, rock photographer. Takes a lot of pictures of bands you and me like, The Who, Rolling Stones, et cetera, et cetera. And he was the early photographer for the Grateful Dead. He, if you saw a picture circa 1965-66, black and white, of the guys, chances are he probably took it. So Herb Green will be giving me a call in next week. And speaking of Green, you got some goodies for us there, Bill?
Musically? Some sonically,
musically,
sonically good goodies here. We're talking about Grateful Dead and Dr. John a little bit. So this one seems appropriate. And this is going out to, this is a song called What Goes Around, and this song was kind of what inspired the new band name for the new project with David Homel and Travis Gates and company.
Which I'm definitely going to get you guys in here this year.
Excellent. That would be great. And this was a song written by Dr. John that Jerry Garcia covered on one of his albums. I'm trying to remember if it was Cats Under the Stars, Reflections, Compliments, one of those that Jerry Garcia covered this on but never played it live. And this is just kind of a sampling. When we play this song live, it's going to have David Homel on vocals and guitar and the whole band, so it's going to sound much better. But this is just a little taste.
Yeah, all those albums got stolen from me, man. I hate that. That's how you can tell what your good albums are. It's the ones that people take or borrow and never return. American Prayer, lost that. Jim Morrison. Oh, anyway.
No. All right, so this is What Goes Around. Remember way back when you had a yen to miss over your old friend. You know you dug me with your heart, with your smile and grin. Never have a chance like that to pull that old stuff again. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around.
And the way it goes up, that's the way it goes down. Now I done got it over, won't bother me no more. The way I met you, I made a million more. I'm so glad it's the way I feel. You come out on the short end of a dirty, dirty deal. Looking over your shoulder, won't have a chance. Over and over, you keep trying to be just a little bolder. Sometimes life can treat you just colder and colder. What goes around comes around. 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 And the way it goes up, that's the way it goes down.
Yeah, that was Bill Kurzenberger. You're listening to Ramblin' Rob. I'm glad Bill stopped in this fine night. I always look forward to listening to Bill, and he has a new album out. It's called Resonate. You can find it on CD, baby, and a myriad of different places on the World Wide Web. Just type him in, and it'll pop up, I'm sure, man. I am sure he is on this computer stuff. I can barely make my computer do a computer thing, but apparently he has this thing licked. So if I ever have a computer issue, I'm calling you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm so awful at computers. I pay like the $99 a year for like the support thing, you know, and so if I got issues, I just call someone. And the last time I did, some guy, I assume he's over in India, he took control of my computer and just fixed the problem, all the way over there, man. I was impressed, like, wow.
That's my day job in a nutshell, and sometimes connecting remotely to users in Cincinnati or Columbus or different areas. Yeah,
he was from India. You could tell by his accent, but he said his name was Jack and he's in Arizona. I don't know. Oh well. Oh, Bill, you got time for one more, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we'll get one more song out of Bill. You can find his new album online. Find Bill Kurzenberger and Ramblin' Rob on Facebook. Also, Bill's got some good stuff on YouTube. You can find him in Terrapin Moon, Skeleton Crew, Crispy's Midnight Railroad. Let me get out. I've got like 40 business cards here with band names on it. What else you have, man?
Well, the main project I'm playing with now, Skeleton Crew, that's going back a few years. But hopefully maybe sometime we'll do a reunion here. it. But, Terrapin Moon and the Bughounds. Terrapin Moon, we're playing at, festivals ranging from the Miami Valley Music Fest, which I'm also playing as a solo act. I'll also be playing that as well. And we have a couple of other exciting fests coming up. And the Bughounds are continuing to play around Columbus, rocking the Columbus scene.
Yeah.
And my project Resonation, get together with them when I can, and we do some kind of all-out jams, and of which there will be an epic Resonation all-out jam tomorrow at Woodlands Tavern.
Yeah, which is one of his fingers might actually fall off tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. I might end up with 9 fingers like a certain musician, a certain famous musician at the end of the night.
Exactly. All right, well, one more tune from Bill here.
Sounds good. I was talking a little bit about Van Morrison earlier, so this is a song by Van the Man.
There you go.
Don't want to discuss it. Think it's time for change. You make it disgusted. Start thinking I'm acting strange. That case, I'll go underground. Get some heavy rest. Never have to worry about what is worse and what is best. Hit it, whoa, domino. Roll me over, there you go. That's what she said. She said, whoa, domino. Roll me over, there you go. Lord have mercy. I said, whoa, domino. She said, whoa, domino. There's no need for argument. There's no argument at all. And if you never hear from him, that just doesn't mean he didn't call. Or vice versa, it just depends on wherever you're at. And if you never hear from me, that just means I would rather not. Hit it, whoa, domino. Roll me over, there you go. Lord have mercy. She said, whoa, domino. Roll me over, there you go. Sing it with me now, people. She said, whoa, domino. She said, whoa, domino. Hey, Mr. DJ. Hey, Ramblin' Rob. I just want to hear some rhythm and blues and some Grateful Dead on the radio, Wave Radio, on the radio, 88.3 radio, on the radio, on the radio, on the radio, Ramblin' Rob Radio, on the radio, on the radio, on the radio. Here's the band.
What a way to end it, man. Love it. Love it. Like Van Morrison, man. One of the more underrated acts in rock and roll, in my opinion.
I agree. Fantastic frontman and songwriter.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just mentioned I talked to my old college roommate last night, and he's also playing out and about now for just started probably maybe 4 weeks ago, just started playing open mic night. So always getting feedback from him, hearing the young guy going out. And
yeah.
He's got his 14-year-old daughter doing some backup on some stuff. And
It's always great to see the next generation playing. My stepson Xavier plays guitar, and hopefully he's listening too. And
well, you should bring him in here with
and
you
some
sometime.
drums. Yeah, sometime maybe I'll have to bring him back down with me.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. Have that Kurzenberger family affair here.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that was Bill Kurzenberger. If you like him, find him on Facebook, CD Baby. He's got a new CD out, Resonate. I'm sure you guys are going to like it. If you don't, well, you're in trouble, because you're going to get in trouble with Ramblin' Rob, because it's one of his favorite new albums. It's the one I carry around with me in my car a lot.
Right. Don't make me find you.
That's right. Don't make me hunt you down. Big shout out to all the guys on Facebook, our worldwide listeners. Thanks again. Have some good shows coming up in addition to the one we had tonight with Bill. Thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob.
My pleasure, man.
Great to be back.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have you back here soon, I'm sure. In some rare form, be it Terrapin Man or the Bughounds, or, like I say,
what goes around,
when I ask you what band you're in, your wallet, it touches the ground with all these cards.
That's right.
Anyway, we do have coming in, like I say, Herb Green's on a little call-in. Next week, also, our Dark Star Jubilee special the week after, featuring a lot of good acts from that venue and the fest. John Hartford Fest special, part 2, on the 28th of this month. Love John Hartford, love the John Hartford Memorial Fest, and also love going there back to the hills of Indiana. Kind of grew up in rural Indiana and love those rolling wooded hills. I just love going back there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say Brown County. Have you been there?
Not sure. Is Brown County, Noblesville near there?
No, this is more towards south central Indiana, like Bloomington, south of Bloomington.
Not sure if I've made it down that way, but Indiana's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. 611 New Old Cavalry Phoner, or the Classic Fest special, featuring a lot of good classic rock there. I went up to Nelson Ledges 2 years ago and checked out Classic Fest and was really impressed by the quality of the artists up there. Boku Moses and the Afro Beats in on June 18th. Also, Maui Pranksters on 7/9. They're going to be in studio post Grateful Dead Extravaganza. The Chicago shows, the Ordeal, the ones I bailed out of. My boss asked me if I was still going up just a couple of days ago to Chicago, and I was like, hey, baby, I'm out of the plane and my chute's pulled. I'm gone. I'm not going up there. So Jimmy Cummings, July 16th, he'll be in studio sharing some great local music. I always try to feature some good stuff from local acts. And be playing a couple bands from Grateful Fest. A good little festival. Have you ever been to Grateful Fest?
Absolutely, yeah. I've played it many years with Terrapin Moon.
Yeah, I was going to say,
there's a good possibility, I can't say with 100% certainty, but there's a good possibility you may see me playing Grateful Fest possibly with Terrapin Moon, possibly with the Maui Pranksters. You never know. There might be some interesting things happening there.
Yeah, well, I will be there, so I'm interested to see what's going on. And lastly, July 23rd, Emily and the Lost Cat Ramblers make a triumphant return to the greatest story ever told in Cincinnati. I don't know if the eight-legged cat will be with them or not.
I hope so. Have you seen my cat?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's, what is it, track number 8 on the new album?
Absolutely, The Ballad of the Eight-Legged Cat.
Yeah, I love the eight-legged cat. He was staying at my house for a couple weeks this summer, man. But anyway, thanks again, Bill. I'm going to get on with some Grateful Dead for you guys. You're listening to Ramblin' Rob. Don't forget to find me on Facebook, and don't forget to find me on YouTube. And don't forget to find Bill, too. He'll be much appreciative of your support, especially if you buy his album. Okay, we're going to cruise out of here with a little Peggy-O. I didn't get to that other one from 1972. Only because it's 37 minutes long. So we're going to save that little jewel for next week. But what I will play instead, I've been really guilty of just doing soundboards. So I'm going to do I did a couple audiences tonight. 1977, 1030 Assembly Hall, my alma mater, Bloomington, Indiana, in the beautiful hills of South Central Indiana that we were just talking about. Anyway, a little Peggy-O. I like how things kind of fall together like that for us.
Thursday nights from 8 till 10, 88.3 Wave FM. Tune on in, yeah, and feed your head. Always awesome tunes and always Grateful Dead. Yeah, Ramblin' Rob. Rob, well, he's your host, streaming on the web from coast to coast. Check it as you do, shows of old. It's Ramblin' Rob's greatest story ever told.
Wow, it's like Woodstock, only with advertisements everywhere and tons of security guards.
For $400, I got Jerry Garcia in a pouch, man.
Destroy all the people in the area. stepping down the stairs, pretty Peggy-O. Come stepping down the stairs, pretty Peggy-O. Come stepping down the stairs, coming back your yellow hair. Bid a last farewell to your real young boy. Sweet William, he is dead, pretty Peggy-O. Sweet William, he is dead, pretty Peggy-O. Sweet William, he is dead, and he died for a maid, and he's buried in the Louisiana country road. As we rode out to Peggy-O, as we rode out to Peggy-O, our captain fell in love with a lady like a dove. He called her by name, pretty Peggy-O.
Everybody has to pay taxes. Even businessmen that rob and steal and cheat from people every day. Even they have to pay taxes.